Hey, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Cold Blooded Serial. I am your host and true crime bestie, Tika. Today, we are on episode 3 of Cyanide and Aspirin, where we left off at the end of episode 2. We discussed Stella's wild past, her mistreatment of her husbands and her daughters, and her hatred for a sober Bruce Nickell. We heard about how Stella was contacted by the FBI to take a polygraph test, and she was totally against it because she felt like it would make her look guilty. We are continuing in the year of 1986. Stella is interviewing at the Federal Building in Seattle. After much questioning, there is no doubt among all of the special agents and the examiner that Stella Maudine Nickell was the tamperer. So, as the weeks passed, Special Agent Jack Cusack played Stella Nickell's first call to 911 over and over. What was she saying? How did she say it? Were her responses genuine? Her voice was calm, which was odd because, most wives, if their husband falls down and appears to be dead, they're going to be hysterical, just like how Sue Snow's daughter was when Sue fell. So when the special agent listened to Stella's 911 call, he said that her voice was calm and that there were delays in her responses to the dispatcher. For example, she says, "I don't know. My husband's gone into some kind of fit. He's breathing extremely hard. His eyes are rolled back. He told me he was going to pass out. I tried to get him on the couch and he hit the floor." She gave the address and told the dispatcher her husband had just turned 53. The dispatcher asks, "Is he conscious?" "I don't think so. His breathing has slowed down. I can't see him. I couldn't get to the phone. I'm not in the same room he's in. He's in the den." Friends, what? Because, think about it. On the first episode, when Sue Snow fell in the bathroom, her daughter was racing back and forth from the phone to the bathroom to check on her mom and to give the dispatcher the information she needs. Stella's just like, I can't get to him. I can't see him. Hey, we're not in the same room. Mind you, they live in a trailer. Like, how big is your trailer that you can't get to your husband? The special agent wondered if she went in the other room to file her nails or smoke a cigarette to wait for Bruce to slip closer to death. The fact that she acts like she can't place the phone down to go check on her husband, that just shows that you don't care at all. So Special Agent Cusack, he was really bothered by this, and he continued to wonder why Stella even made the call. Was it to get help, or was it simply because it was what one would expect a wife to do if their husband collapsed, and if this would help her to look innocent? He said based on the tape alone, he was never quite sure if Stella had guilt or concern in her voice. He said maybe neither. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's neither. Okay, so the special agent still trying to find proof that Stella did this. He goes to Stella's place of employment and he finds out that recently Stella missed work, and her daughter Cynthia, who worked with her, also missed work on that same day. To Special Agent Cusack, it all started to make sense. Up to that point, the investigation focused only on Stella Nickell as the killer. Now he's wondering if Stella and her daughter came up with this plan together to take out Bruce. Now it's August 1986, and Special Agent Jack Cusack met with the young pet shop owner, Tom Noonan. When the agent asked about her purchase of Algae Destroyer, Tom shared that he ordered it specifically for her. A couple other patrons, of course, purchased it, but not as often as Stella had. He told the agents, as a matter of fact, I would tell anyone that bought Algae Destroyer that the only way to get it to work is to crush it up and add hot water to it. This guy is, what's it called? This guy's like an accessory to murder, and he doesn't even know it because he's not thinking that someone's going to take that Algae Destroyer and use it in such a devious way, right? So he's just like, hey, if you want this to work better, this is what you have to do. The special agent, asked again, like, are you sure this is what you're telling your customers? And Tom is like, yeah, like, I am 100% sure that anytime someone purchased this product, I told them to crush it up and add it to hot water. That's the only way it's going to work properly. So Special Agent Cusack and Special Agent Nichols now knew how the green specks got mixed into the cyanide. So thank God for that little mistake, right? 3 months after Bruce Nichols' death, it is September 1986. She's bugging the life insurance company like, hey, what's taking so long? My husband died 3 months ago and I haven't received a dime from any of you guys. Like, what's going on? So the insurance company told her that they had to investigate this accidental death because the feds are now investigating her claim. A month later, which is October 1986, her daughter, Cynthia, is like going through it. She is having some extreme mood swings, so much so that her friend, it's Dee Rogers, the one who went camping with Stella. Right now, Cynthia is living with Dee Rogers, okay? And Dee Rogers is usually like super cool and laid back, fun to be around. So a young Cynthia didn't mind living with her. But now with these mood swings, Dee is like, dude, what is your problem? And Cynthia yells back, you want to know why I'm doing this? You want to know why I'm so bitchy? And Dee is like, yeah, why don't you fucking tell me? Cynthia blurts out, my mom killed my dad. There, happy? Dee is in shock. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And for the first time, Cynthia tells the story of how her mom killed Bruce. She talked about the poisoning, things on the property, how Stella had talked about her father's death. Cindy cried and rambled about topic after topic. My mother was having an affair with Jim McCarthy, who is Bruce's best friend. She says, my mother wanted to buy some heroin. I thought she wanted to be a drug dealer. Then I knew otherwise. My mother talked about putting drugs in his iced tea. She said it would be so easy to reenact the Tylenol murders, the one from Chicago a few years earlier. Both Cindy and her mom worked for a small airport, and all of the employees had their own locker, just to keep their personal items. Cindy said that one time she opened up her locker that she shared with her mom, and she saw some white powder in a small Tupperware container. She said this was right before Bruce died. I think it was cyanide, she said. Cindy, who was now in high gear, she's sprouting off more atrocities planned by her mother against her husband. Dee knew what had to be done, she says. Cindy, you have to tell the FBI. Cindy starts crying. She's like, no. She's like, I can't turn my mother in. She's like, the guilt's killing me, but I can't. No, I can't. I can't do that to my mom. I would never forgive myself if I was the one to turn my mom in. And Dee's like, you have to. And a day or two later, Dee Rogers actually calls the FBI and asks to speak to Randy Scott, who was one of the agents. When Randy meets with her, Dee tells the agent, I think Stella killed Bruce. Of course, he wants to know why. So she tells him about the conversation she had with Cindy and how she would try to persuade Cindy to talk to him. While Dee is trying to convince Cindy to come forward, Stella is doing her best to collect this insurance money. She is hounding the crap out of the insurance company. She's like, I don't know why the FBI would be investigating me and why the insurance company wouldn't pay me until I was released as a suspect. Like, I need my money. So Cindy is going crazy because she doesn't want to betray her mom. It wasn't until she finds out another daughter was struggling with the loss of her mother. Haley Snow mourned her mom's death, especially as her dad, this friggin' jerk, Paul Webking, flaunts around his new girlfriend. It's been like 3 or 4 months and you already have a new girlfriend. Like, what the heck? Sarah, Sue's twin, still believes that Paul is 100% guilty, especially because he's spending a lot of money on his girlfriend instead of mourning the wife that hasn't even been dead for half a year yet. Let's fast forward a month to November 18th, 1986. The time is 10 a.m. The FBI agents sat in anticipation as Stella Nickell was being escorted in for her interview. Of course, she seemed confident and friendly, even chatting about her tropical fish hobby. Special Agent Jack Kuzak brings her into a conference room and she says, I'm glad to be here. Just glad to do anything I can to help with the investigation. He sits directly across from her with his colleague Ron Nichols on his left, and the two agents try to put her at ease without undermining the seriousness of the interview. For the next hour and a half, Stella, Bruce Nichols' widow, stuck to her original story that she told a different agent in June. It's November now, and her story is almost word for word. Listen, she has replayed this story over and over, probably well before her husband's death, and definitely after. She says that she had purchased the 2 bottles of tainted Excedrin at 2 different times, 2 different stores. The agents had fully expected she would have reconsidered the odds of that happening and changed her statement. Friends, Stella is like, no, you're going to have to work to prove that I was guilty. I'm not helping you out. I'm not changing my story. I am going to continue to act as if I'm innocent. Like this was all just one big coincidence, and I have extremely bad luck. So throughout the interview, she remained direct and responsive to the questions, and she spoke with conviction. When they asked about her tropical fish hobby, she seemed to brighten up. It was apparent that she was passionate about her aquarium. When Special Agent Ron Nichols asked about any algae problems, the smile left her face. I've heard about that. I don't use that product. What product? She tightened up and said nothing more on this subject. Aha, Stella, you slipped. After that, it was obvious that the interview was coming to an end, and Special Agent Jack Kuzak took this opportunity to show his appreciation of her coming down there to speak with them and to see if she'd be willing to do them one last favor. She says, anything I can do. He says, Stella, we'd like you to take a polygraph this morning. Oh my gosh, friends, I can only imagine she was too stunned to speak. Her face probably turned the brightest red and her jaw probably dropped. Because I thought this interview was the polygraph, but this was just a regular interview for them to try to catch her in a lie without having to take a polygraph. Her composure wavered and she cries, What? What are you trying to do? I love my husband. Are you trying to drag me through it all over again? She begins to cry. I came here to help, and you're doing this to me? He says, a polygraph would help us put some of these questions behind us. It would help move the investigation forward. She continues crying, and she insists that she couldn't go through with such an ordeal. Listen, she's like, you guys aren't going to catch me in a lie. She's like, I am staying out of prison. So Agent Cusack even tells her that he'd only ask her 2 questions and he'd give her the questions beforehand so she was prepared. Now, I don't know what he has planned or how this would work, but he's definitely playing her game. So Stella, being the smarty pants that she is, she wipes her tears and tells him that she would only do it if her doctor gives her permission. He's like, okay, well, there's the phone. Go ahead. She stares at him. He holds her gaze, and then she says, no, I need to see him in person. Friends, she is like, hey, I'm about to outsmart this FBI agent. I am getting out of here, and he'll never have this opportunity again. Agent Cusack tells her if he says it's okay, and your attorney says it's okay, will you consent to the polygraph? And Stella surprisingly promised she would. Well, let's see. Does she keep her word? On Thursday, November 20th, 2 days after storming out of the FBI interview, Stella calls up SEIB, which is the State Employees Insurance Board, to check status on the life insurance policy she had for Bruce. She's like, I am not trying to work. I just need you guys to give me my money so I can live happily ever after. The rep that she spoke to told her that the investigation was still pending. Stella informed her that the case had been closed because she just met with the FBI and she had been cleared. The rep's like, hey, my manager is working directly with Northwestern Insurance, and she said for you to stop calling us directly. Northwestern Insurance would deal with you going forward. Stella had no idea that every time she checked status, the insurance company is taking notes and sharing it with the FBI. This cannot look good because she has been hounding this insurance company. The rep was like so relieved, like, thank God I don't have to deal with this crazy woman anymore. She calls me almost daily. So another month passes. It's now the morning of December 15th, 1986. Stella decided that today would be the day she would prove her innocence to the FBI. She's like, I'm going to take this polygraph test, and I'm going to show you guys that you're all looking at the wrong person. Special Agent Jack Cusack gave her instructions and made sure that she understood what he was saying. She confirmed that she understood the process. He then asked her to select a number, write it down on a sheet of paper, and place it under her arm. She was told to answer no to each of his questions, even when he came to the number she wrote down. He told her, I'll be able to tell what number you wrote. Just say no. Now he began to ask the serious questions, 10 serious questions to be exact. Regarding the capsules, did you put any potassium cyanide in any of the capsules? No. Did you cause the death of Sue Snow? No. He continued to ask a series of questions. In a low, serious voice, he said, Stella, you're here today, and we're going to work with you. You need help. Maybe we can arrange for the help you need. First, you have to tell us in your own words why you killed Bruce and Sue Snow. Stella's eyes were dark. Her lips tightened like a twisted rubber band. Are you accusing me of killing my husband? He answered, absolutely. I know you did it. And you know you did it. Let's work it out here. Agent Ron Nichols stepped in to go over the evidence the FBI had gathered, showing she was the killer, the bottles, the algicide, the insurance. Stella sat and listened, her brain working as she tried to see if the FBI actually had enough to prove she was guilty. This is going to be hard on your family, your mother. Do you really want to put them through this? Stella looked up and slowly demanded, I want to see my attorney. Later, Jack Cusack described Stella during the closing moments of the polygraph. She looked like a female bank teller sitting there watching a video replay of her stealing money out of the vault, although she had been denying it for weeks. She looked like a broken-spirited young girl in a 42-year-old's body. After Stella left the FBI office, her friend said that she was crying and shaking, saying how she was innocent and the FBI rigged the test to make her look guilty. But while all of this is happening, her oldest daughter is still a mess because she knows her mother is guilty. And her daughter, Cindy, and her roommate, Dee, are so nervous that they believe that Stella may poison them or harm their kids. All right, friends, this is where I leave you. Thanks so much for listening to my bite-sized episode. Stay tuned for more true crime stories. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow. I will talk to you soon. Stay safe. Bye.